Hello, my name's Ellis Daniel. I'm one of the senior employment law consultants here at Bright HR. We're here to talk about how AI is being adopted into HR. And today I'm joined by our Director of AI and Technology, Al Brown. Thanks for being here today, Al.
Thanks, Ellis.
So let's talk about AI in the workplace. The benefits, the risks, the challenges. But first, how are Bright HR implementing AI?
We've been cautious but rigorous about our implementation. We've avoided the excitement and the hype curve around AI, and we've built out features that are highly useful to our users, are very safe for them to use and deliver a lot of value to them.
Absolutely. So Al, how do you think that AI has improved the client experience at Bright HR?
So we've created features that will generate content for you. So in performance management, for goal setting, for job adverts, we can generate content that is much richer than perhaps a person may be able to create, and certainly is much slicker. The recruitment process is aided by this, but there's an interesting warning in that you need to be cautious about recruitment. Make sure that you don't allow AI to create any bias for your recruitment process.
Absolutely, and definitely from an employment law perspective, bias is something we always want to avoid, so that's definitely a very good point. We've talked about Bright HR, but what are the wider success stories of AI adoption?
The group has been very successful at surfacing our content, so we have some of the best advisors in the country and some of the best content in the country as well. We've leveraged AI towards surfacing that content in a much more consumable and findable fashion than ever before. We've also had great success with developer efficiency and also some emerging efficiencies within our operational teams. Probably most exciting for Bright HR is our help centre that's soon to be released, which will enable our customers to get a much richer support experience.
Wow, that sounds very interesting. And how about small businesses, do you think? How would you recommend they approach AI adoption?
Enthusiastically but cautiously. So be aware of the inherent risks. Make sure that you're delivering some business value and that it integrates with your workflows, and understand what you want from it. What is this AI feature going to do for your business?
Yeah, so what are the other big concerns around using artificial intelligence in HR?
Much the same as technology, really. Care for your data, your employees' data, your customers' data. It needs to be secure. Legal and ethical considerations. Are you assisting decision-making with AI, or are you merely using AI in order to support those decisions? And customer confidence. Is your outcome good with AI? Are there any hallucinations? Has anything been made up by the AI?
Absolutely, and I think there is a real fine line, especially when we're talking about employee-employer relations and where AI integrates into that, because you could have a level of trust that is ultimately being broken if an employee is completely outsourcing all of their work to an AI platform, especially if you're unaware of that. So you're paying somebody a salary to do a job that realistically technology could do for us. So, I think there is definitely some refinement needed. And how can employers control their staff AI use, if at all?
Yeah, I think it turns into a governance responsibility. You need to know what they're doing. You should set a very clear expectation with your employees about what sort of activities you want them to use AI for, what sort of activities you don't want them to use AI for, and govern it. So be aware of where the technology is being used.
Absolutely. So you've talked about Bright HR adopting AI responsibly and sustainably. With that in mind, what do small businesses definitely need?
They need a policy. They need to define how AI will be used, where it will be used and where it won't be used. They need to educate so their employees are really understanding what the policy is and why it's important. And they need to consider the impact on the culture of the business. There's some great case studies and examples. IKEA introduced Billy the Bot, which satisfied the majority of service calls into the business. And it didn't make a lot of people's roles redundant. What they did was they drove those people up the value chain to become designers.
Interesting. With that in mind, the controversial question is, do you think AI is replacing human employees?
No, I don't think it will. I think what it will do is enable people to do roles that are probably more interesting for them, more exciting for them, and drive them up the value chain.
Yeah, definitely a very interesting perspective. With that in mind, there are some, case studies on the other side that have come out fairly recently. Amazon have announced 14,000 jobs to be cut globally due to AI, and Nestle have announced 16,000 job losses due to utilized efficiencies. With cases like this in mind, should employers address their employees' concerns about job losses in AI?
Absolutely. They need to communicate really clearly. They need to be clear about where they're using AI in order to generate operational efficiencies and what impact that might be. They need to offer training to people to adopt those technologies and see what roles they can do in the business.
So if we talk about the future, how do you see the future of AI and HR?
I think it's the balance that we need to establish. What will we automate? What will we use AI in order to determine? And where will the human be in the loop? In our business, the value of our consultants is absolutely paramount. And we recognise that, and that's the value for our customers.
Definitely, couldn't agree more there. And so to sum up, businesses need to plan for AI integration essentially and not rush it.
Yes, absolutely. They need to understand the value they're trying to drive. They should be using AI to generate really good information to support the decision-making process, but they shouldn't be using AI to make the decisions. They need a policy so that they can understand really clearly what they're getting, how it will be used, and so their employees can adhere to that policy.
Definitely, and I think that's something for every business in the UK to take note of, really, if you are planning on using AI in the future. But that was really informative on such a hot topic in employment law, and AI generally is, of course, everywhere. Can you tell us where we can go for more information?
Yes, of course. Our customers can call our advice line anytime, and we have additional advice on our website at brighthr.com.
Perfect. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.